Force One is one of the most impressive symbols of America and our president.
So, why is the first plane to carry the name baking on the edge of the Marana airport? Craig Smith has a look at a historic plane and the efforts to help her fly again.
This was Dwight Eisenhower's presidential plane. His wife Mamie named the Lockheed Constellation Columbine, but the Air Force called it the first Air Force One. Here's how this airplane acquired the call sign of Air Force One. Back then, planes were known on the radio just by their tail number, in this case 8610. But one day, this plane was in the air, and so was Eastern Airlines Flight 8610. That kind of confusion was just too unsafe for the military to bear, so they came up with the call sign Air Force One.
If airplanes could talk, this will be the first one that will.
Timothy Coons cares for the plane. He and the people who own it would love to see it in a museum, or better yet, flying again.
If I had a crew of 30 people on this thing, we get it flying in a month.
People who love planes think the Constellation is one of the loveliest. Our cameras caught Columbine flying into Ryan Airfield 13 years ago. Like today's Air Force One, the plane was part of pop culture. On the old game show What's My Line, the plane's pilot was careful when asked if Eisenhower, who had some pilot training, ever used it on Air Force One.
Does he come up in the cockpit and handle the controls once in a while, for instance?
Occasionally, yes, and I'll just say that he's a wonderful passenger.
The plane has come back from near death before. The Air Force sold it as surplus. Eisenhower's plane was providing parts for other constellations when the Smithsonian told the owners about the plane's history. They put it back together and flew it on the airshow circuit until economics brought it down and left it here. Now the owners are hoping an angel will help the first Air Force One fly again, with the money required to get her in shape. In Marana, Craig Smith, KGUN-9 on your side.
Eisenhower flew on 3 Lockheed Constellations named Columbine. Pima Air and Space Museum has Columbine 1, which he used as a general commanding Allied forces in Europe in the early days of the Cold War. He used Columbine 3 later in his presidency. It's in the Air Force Museum.
Just an incredible piece of history there.
It is.
Hopefully they could do something to get it going again.